G'day, Jared from Tyre Review here, and I've spent the last 10,000 Ks on the Yokohama X-AT, that's the G016 for those playing along at home. And we sort of brought it up here because this is where it belongs. We're on a muddy track and we've just got to the top of a thing and driven through a puddle that's right there. It's a bit bigger than your average puddle. The G016 it's an interesting beast. It's halfway between the all-terrain and the mud terrain. So at the start, before I actually started driving on these tyres, I actually spent a little while on the mud terrain just to give it a bit of a balance, because I've used the all-terrain before, but I hadn't used the Yokohama mud terrain. And one of the things that I noticed about the mud terrain is it's the same as most mud terrains, is that you can feel at low speeds, you can feel the tread prints and you can hear it at the higher speeds. And I was curious to see if the G016, which is, again, it's halfway between, so and it's also got the 3-ply carcass, which is very similar to the mud terrain tyre, but it's got a more all-terrain tyre inspired tread pattern where you've actually got these sipes here that are wider, so you're actually going to be better off-road, but they've actually got a denser packed tread block in the middle. So I really wanted to see what characteristics they pulled from the all-terrain and what characteristics they pulled from the mud terrain. And I got to say, I'm impressed with them off-road. They can get dirty, and I had some fairly serious little spots coming up here, and we've taken them in the snow and that sort of thing before, and they get dirty no problem. It's more on the road where I want to sort of talk about this a little bit more. So I'll get back in the car and we'll go for a drive down the hill, and I'll talk to you again on the road. So we're on the gravel now, and these tyres also perform really well on the gravel. Like they're sure-footed, and I tend to drive fast, as you know, and to the speed limit, and they're certainly well and truly capable of keeping up with me on that. And they're also really good on the blacktop. The only spots that I found where they are not quite, keeping in mind that these are an aggressive all-terrain or a tame mud terrain, depending on how you look at it. I almost think of it as like they've taken the mud tyre and actually stuck it into a business suit, or at least a polo shirt, so that it's a mud tyre carcass with the all-terrain tyre grip. But in the wet, they sort of exhibit a little bit of the characteristics of a mud tyre and a little bit of the characteristics of an all-terrain tyre. So they've actually got a little bit of the mud tyre understeer, a little bit of the all-terrain tyre oversteer. So around a roundabout, you can lose the tail a little bit if you're going a little bit too quickly. You can lose the nose a little bit if you're going, if you're not putting your weight in the right place. So just be a little bit careful there. So drive to the conditions, as you should be doing anyway. You shouldn't be driving like a nit like me. And also, dry traction is just slightly down. So I noticed on some quick corners, but also if you're doing a quick turn on the bitumen, then you may find that they're just not quite holding on as well as an all-terrain would. But again, these are a mud tyre and a business suit, so what do you expect? But otherwise, great tyre. Can't see any real problems with them. They perform fantastically. And what I would probably recommend these tyres for is actually for the traditional overlander. So your people who might be driving around the country, who would normally choose a noisy mud terrain tyre, choose these, because these are the mud tyre carcass, but they've actually got a grip or tread pattern that actually has some good grip, but it's still well and truly comfortable on the road, and it's not noisy. There is perhaps a little bit of tyre whine that you might notice at around about 80 sort of Ks, or that's what I got, but that's not noticeable. And for the trade-offs that you get for a tyre like this, it's totally worth it. So that's my review. The G016 X-AT from Yokohama. Thanks, y'all.